Hello and welcome back to the FSS Football channel and another episode of Premier League Preview. Now before we get into this week's fixtures, let's look at last week's results and player to watch. As you can see, there's no real shocks from last week. The main talking points coming from the Arsenal versus Leicester game, to be precise, the Eddie Nketiah red card and Jamie Vardy's lack of red card for this challenge. Now I don't know how it's not a red card. He studded Mustafi in the face. It's a clear red card. I can see why Eddie Nketiah is a red card, but I can also see why people would say it's a yellow card. But if Nketiah is a red card, there's absolutely no chance Jamie Vardy's is not a red card. It's awful officiating. Once again, another terrible example of VAR not being used properly. Comparing the Vardy one wasn't even reviewed. It's a joke. It's a farce. And it wasn't the only poor refereeing decision / VAR decision this week. We have this one from the Manchester United vs Aston Villa game, where Bruno Fernandes has stood on Ezri Konsa's leg and has been awarded the penalty. Now, again, I can see why it's given. Bruno Fernandes is turning and he's spinning. He has to put his foot down, and Ezri Konsa's got in that way. And in that sense, yes, it is a penalty. But Bruno Fernandes has stepped on Konsa. It's one that I've seen him given and I've seen him not given. It's very fortunate to be given, and it's very lucky for Manchester United. But of course, we did clearly win the game, and we were the better team, and we did deserve the 3 points. And the penalty, yes, it got it opened the floodgates, but Manchester United were always going to win that game. And before we get into previewing the player to watch, can we just applaud what was a fantastic goal from Danny Welbeck? That guy Welbs. Honestly, I didn't know he had it. He had it in him. Player to watch preview. Last week's player to watch was Manchester United's Bruno Fernandes. He got a goal and an assist against Aston Villa in a 3-0 victory. Obviously coming from the penalty spot, as we've discussed, it was a very controversial penalty, and the assist for Paul Pogba's goal from a corner, great corner into Paul Pogba on the edge of the box, who coolly slotted it home past Pepe Reina, which was Manchester United's third of the game and sealed all 3 points. Bruno Fernandes had a fantastic game, and he picked up 14 fantasy Premier League points, giving him the 4th highest in total behind Mohamed Salah, David Silva and John Egan. Anyway, let's get into this week's fixtures. Before we get into the video, make sure you hit that like button below, subscribe down below, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload from the FSS channel. Also, check out my personal channel down below, FSS114, where I'll make gaming videos, vlogs, you name it, I'll probably make it at some point. Anyway, let's get into the video. Norwich versus West Ham. Both teams lost last week, but this is a normal thing for both these teams really. Especially Norwich, who are still awful, still clearly the worst team in the league. They did score against Watford, and I believe they took the lead. They did take the lead through Emi Buendia, who has been their best player this season, but I don't see him winning. West Ham, they need to keep on winning to stay out of that relegation zone and that relegation scrap. And I think they will against Norwich. Norwich are terrible. They really are terrible. They're one of the worst Premier League sides we have ever seen. They're rivaling Huddersfield from last year. They're that bad. I don't see anything but a West Ham win here. I'm going 2-0. Watford versus Newcastle. Now I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Both teams are having an okay return to the Premier League. Kind of how their season's gone. They've not been terrible enough to get relegated. Well, Newcastle haven't. Watford are around there, but since Nigel Pearson's come in, they've looked okay. They've studied the ship, and they're slowly but surely climbing their way out of that relegation zone. This is going to be a boring game. I'm going 1-0. Liverpool versus Burnley. Liverpool, they looked better against Brighton. and they look like they're slowly getting back to their best. They're not quite there yet, from what I can tell against Brighton, but they're looking there. They rested quite heavily. Sadio Mane was obviously on the bench. Nico Williams started over Andrew Robertson, and I think most of their players that they did rotate. Obviously, Roberto Firmino was also on the bench. I think they'll be back in the starting lineup, and they'll be strong against this Burnley side, who obviously did beat West Ham last game 1-0. I don't see Burnley having much of a chance against this winning machine that is Liverpool right now. I'm going for a 2-0 Liverpool win. Sheffield United versus Chelsea. Both teams coming to this game after wins in their last game. Sheffield United beating Wolves 1-0 thanks to a late goal from John Egan, and Chelsea scraping through a 3-2 victory over London rivals Crystal Palace thanks to a very fortunate goal for the first goal when Gary Cahill pulls up with an injury while Chelsea are attacking, meaning he's out of the picture, and allows for a simple ball across for the first goal. And then Kepa pulling out an extraordinary save in the last few minutes of the game to deny an equaliser for Crystal Palace, leaving the game to finish 3-2. Now, this Sheffield United game is a game that Chelsea have often dropped points in this season, as proved by the fact they dropped points to them after being 3-0 up in the reverse fixture, and I can see it happening again. I'm going 1-1. Brighton versus Manchester City. Poor old Brighton, they've not had an easy run of games. They were smashed by Manchester United, smashed by Liverpool, and now they've got Manchester City. And I think the same thing's going to happen. Manchester City are going to go there wanting to win and needing to win. Manchester City just beat Newcastle 5-0, and they want to continue that run after what was an embarrassing performance against Southampton. They want to win the rest of the season and prove why they are second and why they believe they can be champions next year. I think they will do that. Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden want to be getting back into the goals and assists. De Bruyne is obviously up there challenging for Thierry Henry's assist record, and at this rate he will smash it. And I believe he'll get a few goals. I reckon he'll get a goal, maybe an assist too. I'm going 3-0 Manchester City. Wolves versus Everton. Both teams have had a pretty good start to Project Restart, but however has fallen off in recent weeks. And I believe this game could go anyway, but I'm going to go for an Everton 2-1 win. Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. I'm going to keep this one quick. Aston Villa are poor, and I think Crystal Palace are better than them. And I'm going for a Crystal Palace win. It's just by how many. I don't see Aston Villa staying up. I think they're gone. Bournemouth are gone. And Norwich are gone. I feel like relegation is kind of set in stone at this point. I hope. I like Bournemouth. I wish they could stay up. I don't know what it's about them. I do like Bournemouth, but I think they're going down. Aston Villa, again, I like them, but are they going down? I think so. And I think Palace will put another nail in that coffin in this game. I'm going 2-1 Crystal Palace. Tottenham versus Arsenal. It's the North London derby. It's, of course, Arsenal versus Chelsea at the new White Hart Lane. Now, it looks as if the wheels are already coming off of Jose Mourinho's Spurs team as they drew 0-0 with Bournemouth, becoming the first team since 2015 not to have registered a shot on target against Bournemouth. And they were awful. Harry Kane looked absolutely useless, and I'm not surprised. He has been rushed back from injury time after time under Mauricio Pochettino, and I don't think he looked the same striker as he did a year, 2 years ago. He's not the same striker as he once was. Aubameyang, on the other hand, looks fantastic. He's scoring goals, which is fantastic to see. He's playing off the left, but he can play up top. Who knows what will happen in this game? Lacazette looks like set to have to start up top if Aubameyang is decided to play on the left, thanks to the suspension of Eddie Nketiah, unless it gets appealed and rescinded. Like I say, it looks like the wheels are coming off Jose Mourinho, while Mikel Arteta's men are only getting better and better. And they were very unlucky not to beat Leicester last time out. I see them winning this game. I really do. I'm going to go 3-1 to the Arsenal. Bournemouth versus Leicester. Like I said, Bournemouth finally got a point against Tottenham, not allowing them to register a single shot on target. And were actually quite unlucky not to have won the game, thanks to an overhead kick which found the back of the net but was ruled off thanks to a handball by Josh King. However, Leicester, they're going to beat them, aren't they? Leicester getting back into form just when they need to. A few games until the end of the season, where they obviously play Manchester United on the final day, which could potentially seal top 4 for either club. And I see them winning again. I'm going to go 2-1. Manchester United versus Southampton. Manchester have looked exceptional since the restart, and nothing brings a smile to my face more than hearing that and seeing how well Manchester United are playing right now. Manchester United have set a new record for winning by a 3-0 margin in 4 consecutive games, which is a new Premier League record, like I say, and we look exceptional. A player that I don't think is getting enough credit is Anthony Martial. His defensive work, especially against Aston Villa, was exceptional. We don't score the second goal, the Greenwood goal, without his work. There was a time where he started tackles at the edge of the box, and is then having a shot at the other end about 10 seconds later. He was exceptional, and something I loved to see was when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer subbed Martial off, how angry he was. Now, there's some people twisting this and saying, oh, he's got an attitude problem, this, that and the other. No, he's not. He's a goal scorer. He wants to score a goal. The same reaction you would expect from a Cristiano Ronaldo, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, or Sergio Aguero. These absolute top goal scorers. If they ain't scored, they're not happy and they don't want to be subbed off. And Martial didn't deserve to get subbed off and was absolutely amazing at Aston Villa. And he doesn't get the credit he deserves. I think he was incredible. But Manchester United as a whole have looked incredible since the restart. Southampton haven't looked bad themselves. Last game picking up a 1-1 draw against Everton. And they obviously beat Manchester City 2 games ago, thanks to an incredible Che Adams goal, like discussed last week. However, I don't see Manchester United losing this game. They need to keep winning to try and take top 4. And while it is in their hands right now, a defeat could take it away from them. So I'm going to go for a Manchester United 2-0 win. Player to watch. This week's player to watch is going to be Senegalese forward Sadio Mane. He was rested against Brighton last time out, so he's going to be fully fit for this Burnley game, and he will thrive. You've got Trent Alexander-Arnold whipping balls into him, and I can just see him scoring goals. I predict a 2-0 win for Liverpool, and it could easily be more. Honourable mentions go to Anthony Martial, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Mason Greenwood, Kevin De Bruyne, Mohamed Salah, and finally Raheem Sterling. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button below, subscribe down below, tell me what you think the results will be and what you think of my predictions in the comments below, and tell me what other videos you would like to see on this channel. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Peace.